Hi, it's Missy from Beer for the Ladies. So, as some of you may know, if you actually watch these videos, I'm in the military and I just got back from Europe. Well, I've been back for a few months now and I'm really kind of wanting that German beer that I had, and it's very difficult to find here, so I'm going to try to make one. Also, it's really easy sometimes. Just go down to the brew store and they already have some recipes put together for you. I mean, sure, they might be all grain, they might be extract, but they do all the measuring and they've done all the testing and they know how it works out. So I like to buy kits. It makes it way easier. I don't have to think about anything. So this is a German wheat beer that's going to be like a Hefeweizen. So this kit will come with two of these 3.3 pound containers of the Bavarian wheat, so there's 6.6 pounds. It comes with a bag of torrefied wheat, and this is used to create some of that head retention, that big white fluffy head. If you've ever had a real German beer, they do have a nice big beautiful head to them. There's also two hop additions. They're both Hallertau hops, which I've used before. I do like Hallertau hops. They have a nice kind of spicy flavor to them. They're not really hoppy in that they're not that bitter grapefruit kind of taste like you get with some of our West Coast hops from the United States. But it's a really good hop flavor. Now, this kit comes with this little packet of yeast. I'm not going to use this. I mean, I'll save this for something later maybe. But what I went ahead and did is I splurged. I paid a little extra, and I got this Y yeast. And this is going to be the yeast that creates that authentic German beer type of flavor, that Hefeweizen clover, or not clover, clove and banana kind of flavor. So the great thing is Old West Supply is where I go here in Colorado Springs. Just like every other kit you get, they give you all the instructions, although these are probably a little more in depth than other kits I've gotten. And then I always get really great advice from there. So if you're in Colorado Springs, you want some good advice, you want to buy lots of great products they sell in that store, go to Old West Homebrew. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to heat up 2 gallons of water to 150, between 150 and 160. We're at 150 right now, so I'm going to say that's good. Take that out. I already have my bag ready to go in a bowl. Keep the bowl because you're going to want to put this grain bag back in that bowl and not string a liquid all over your countertop. So we'll go ahead and just dip that in there. Okay. Let that kind of steep a little. Okay, now what I do, I just put a lid on it. Set a timer for 20 minutes. And just leave it, okay? Let that sit for 20 minutes. You don't have to do anything else to it. This is the torrefied wheat. I'm just going to steep that, and then in a minute I'll show you the next steps. Okay, now our 20 minutes has expired. I'm going to go ahead and take the bag out of here. I'm going to put it into this bowl that I have ready. Then I'll turn the heat back on, and we'll get ready to boil this. Now, what you should have done already is you should have put those 2 containers of liquid malt extract, if that's what you're using, into a hot water bath so that they have about 20 minutes to sit in hot water, and it loosens up that liquid malt, because that extract, because it's really super thick, and it just helps pour it in a little easier. So let's go ahead and get this out of here. Now what I like to do is mix it up a little bit, make sure that I'm squeezing the bag a little bit, not a lot. I don't know how hard. I'm just kind of patting it with my spoon here, my paddle, just to make sure that whatever's in there is out. And then also you're going to want to drain it, make sure that whatever's in the bag is out. You know what I mean? We don't want to make this a wasted step. Just kind of giving it a little squeeze here and there, kind of like when you have a tea bag and you're trying to get all the tea out of it. I mean, you're not wringing it, right? You're not squeezing the life out of it. Just kind of giving it a little bit of a pat, a little shove. Okay. Now, this is a pretty small bag, so it's not very heavy at all. Some of the grain bags you get they're really heavy, so keep that in mind. With those really heavy bags, I like to take my spoon and I'll wrap it around it like this so that I can hold it, because they're pretty heavy. This one though, yeah, it's not very heavy at all. I'm gonna give it a couple little shakes here. Get all the water out of it if I can. It doesn't have much, you see, it's just kind of dripping. Now, this is where your bowl comes in. Now you got it in the bowl, no mess on your countertop. So, time to turn it back on. And I have it on really high right now because I want this to start boiling. Once it starts boiling, I'll turn the heat off again because you don't want to add any kind of malt extract with the heat on. I'll stir it in as I'm adding, and then we'll turn the heat back on. Once it gets to boiling, we'll add the first hops, which is a 60-minute hop. That means it's going to boil for 60 minutes. I'm going to set my timer for 55 minutes though, because with 5 minutes remaining, I'm supposed to add this next or final hop addition. I would also have a Whirlfloc tablet, Irish moss, something that helps flocculation, but I ran out. So this one will be a little more cloudy than is usually cloudy. You know, no big deal. It's not going to change the taste of your beer. Your beer should be fine. The only reason we add that stuff is to get that flocculation, get that stuff to clump up and drop to the bottom of your fermenter, your bottle, whatever you're using. But it's not really that big of a deal, I don't think. I'm pretty sure they don't use it in Germany because all the beers I had there were pretty cloudy. Anyway, let's get this boiling and we'll move on with the rest of this brew day. Alright, so now we're right about the point of boiling. I'm starting to see a couple of blups come up. Remember, anytime you add something to the boiling wort, it's going to create more bubbles and more foam. So just be aware of that. Once this starts boiling, you can't really walk away. I mean, there'll be a point where it's kind of stabilized and it just keeps bubbling and a hot break has occurred and all that. But, and you can, you know, when you walk around the kitchen or whatever, I wouldn't just leave it alone. But at this beginning stage, this is where it could get all over your stove, which is really all you're avoiding. So when you add this, be careful. If it starts to rise up, then if it's a gas stove, just shut the heat off, no big deal. If it's an electric stove, because I've made beer on an electric stove, you got to move the pot away because that element, even though you turned it off, is still hot. So just be aware of that. So if you have a huge pot, obviously, you got to take that into account. You don't want to slosh it all over the place or hurt yourself, burn yourself, whatever. So just be careful with it. So as this is rolling around in here and moving, which is starting to move right now, I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here. It may foam up a little bit. You may not be able to see it. I have it pretty far down inside this big pot. I'm just going to give it some stirs. I'll blow on it. If the foam starts to come up, you just give it a little blow and it dissipates. I don't know why that works, but it does. Something my mom taught me a long, long time ago. But you just keep going with it, okay? And make sure you set your timer. So again, this one, I'm going to go ahead and drop that in. Got a little bit of foaming. It's not too bad. It's not bad at all. I'm going to give it some stirs. I got a little bit of foam on top. This isn't so bad. It'll start moving around a little bit more here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and set my timer for 55 minutes. And then we're going to, at 5 minutes remaining, add that last hop addition. Again, at 5 minutes, that's probably when you would add your Whirlfloc, your Irish moss, whatever else you have. Also, I'm going to put my thermometer back in there toward the very end. So I'm going to set it right next to here so I don't forget it. So it'll kind of sterilize it, because once that happens, I'll move it over to the ice bath so I can try to cool it down really quickly. And I don't want to stick once this thing is not at boiling temperature, I don't want to stick a thermometer in there and then introduce whatever funky thing that the yeast doesn't really want to cooperate with. So anyway, I'm going to continue doing this. Again, stir, blow, take off heat, lather, rinse, repeat. That's how that's going to work, and you're not going to make a mess, and you're not going to ruin anything, and then in the end you'll end up with beer no matter what. Okay? So, see you in a minute. So here we are. It's boiling away. Didn't have too many problems with foam or anything. Just, like I said, give it a stir, give it a blow, take it off the heat. No big deal. But you can see the color is kind of that ambery, almost orange color. You can see it against the spoon. I think we're going to end up with a really nice looking light colored beer when it's finally bottled up and everything. Anyway, so we're going to continue boiling this for another 40-something minutes. Then I'll drop in the next hop addition. 5 minutes remaining, along with that thermometer. And we'll get ready to cool it down and slap it into the fermenter. Alright, well, it's been about 55 minutes now, so we're going to drop in this last bag of the second and last bag of hops. Maybe a little bit of foaming come up with that, but not much. We've also dropped about 1.5 inches, almost 2 inches of liquid, so keep that in mind. That's really concentrating some of this stuff. I'm also going to put this thermometer in there so that it'll kind of sterilize with the bubbling, with the boiling wort. So we got another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to take this off of here, off the heat, and I'm going to move it to a water bath. So now is the time to get that water bath ready. Go ahead and fill up your sink, your tub, whatever you're going to use, ice and everything, or you have your wort chiller ready. I'm not going to use a wort chiller with this. And then you're going to transport this over to that location, leaving the thermometer in there so you can watch it, chill it down to pitching temperature, okay? Also, I have this, the Y yeast. It's 3068. It's a Weinsteffen wheat, which is going to give you that Hefeweizen kind of flavor. This is what they call a smack pack. There's a little, you can kind of feel it. There's a little capsule. There it is right there. A little capsule in there. You're going to put next to one hand and the other, not against like, you know, the counter or anything. Find where it is. Get it down to the corner. There it is, right there. And then we're going to give it a little smack, and that's the yeast nutrient. It's going to start getting this moving. So you're going to want that ready to go. So, get that ready, and then you're ready to pitch after you get down to pitching temperature. So, filled up my sink with ice water, and it is really cold. And it's only been a couple of minutes, and you can actually watch that. You can watch the thermometer go down. So this cools down pretty quickly. And I leave the spoon inside there for the last little bit that it was cooking, or boiling, so that I can make sure that this was sterilized too. So you can stir it. See that temperature went back up a little bit because I moved around some of the hot wort. You can stir it and do what they call whirlpooling if you want. It's really whatever you need to do to get this cooled down, but you're going to watch that temperature, and it'll slowly get down to the pitching temperature, which, you know, in my opinion, it should just be below 90, somewhere between 70 and 90. If you can get it down to 70, 68, 72, somewhere in there, then that's great. If you can't and you're a little impatient, it's not really going to be a problem because, yeah, this might be hot, but you can see that our water line went from here to here. So there's less water in here now, right? Less liquid. We're going to be using this speedle fermenter. I had a video before where I showed you the speedle fermenter. But you see, I mean, so if we started with 2 gallons, we're less than 2 gallons now in liquid. And then you're going to fill it up to here with cold water. So you're going to be okay. It'll be fine. So if it's at 90 degrees inside the pot, by the time you get it to here, it's going to be less than 90 degrees. It'll be fine. And then you can take your gravity reading, you know, get that wherever you want, and then pitch your yeast and you're good. So if you want to know about the speedle fermenter, I do have the a review of this. I like this. I like this fermenter. I do use it often. So it's got a spigot already here. The only thing about this is the hoses that you get for all the other things, the tubes, don't fit. You got to go buy a bigger tube for this. But I mean, whatever. That's a few dollars. But overall, I like this. You'll see this in just a minute. So we'll continue cooling that down, and we'll get it into the fermenter. We'll top it off with water, and then I'll get ready to pitch. You can see over there, I took gravity reading, we're sitting right at 1050. It's right where I want it to be. I paired a little bit higher than the 5-gallon mark, so I count for some of the trub at the bottom. Anyway, I'm going to pitch the yeast. Then I'll put the top on with the airlock. I'll throw it in a nice room temperature, 68 plus degree closet for a couple of weeks, see what we get. Well, anyway, thanks for watching.